Assalamu alaikum. So I received a request to review something called Hyperfund. I was pretty disturbed by what I found. The brother who made the request mentioned that his brother was invested with Hyperfund for 2 years and that many in his community were invested in this fund. So even though this wasn't the typical topic that I address on this channel, I decided it was important enough to address and hopefully save some people the loss that I predict is imminent, if not has already, unfortunately, occurred. And even if I'm not able to save Hyperfund investors, perhaps the analysis we go through today in this video will enable people to spot a scam in the future if they are ever presented with one. If you are new here, my name is Rakan Kayali, founder of Practical Islamic Finance, where we help people globally build wealth in a halal way. You can follow the crypto and growth stock portfolios that I manage by becoming a member. You can also follow PIF on social media, including joining our Discord group and signing up to our newsletter using the links in the description of this video. So this all started by someone purchasing a request on our Buy Me a Coffee page for me to review Hyperfund. I concluded pretty quickly that I was entirely uncomfortable with this fund, and that the brother that sent me the request should stay away. He then sent me an email with what is basically a distillation of arguments for why Hyperfund is not in fact a scam. Rather than respond to these arguments in private, I'd like to review these arguments with you in order to hopefully help viewers do this analysis on their own and avoid what I think is a scam in Hyperfund, and also enable them to avoid other scams that they may be exposed to in the future. Let's start with an overview of what is Hyperfund. Hyperfund is actually no longer called Hyperfund. It recently went through a rebranding and is now Hyperverse, because after all, the metaverse is now all the rage and effective marketing entails using a lot of buzzwords. And it was actually very difficult to find what exactly was being offered here. I found a lot of information about Hyperfund and Hyperverse from third-party commenters saying that it was a scam, but precious little from Hyper folks themselves. Chuck Norris seemed pretty excited about it, but I was still unsure what the heck this was. After a lot of digging, I was able to find a member of their community who wrote a Medium article that described the scheme in brief. So this person says, Hyperfund is a private membership and rewards program. Members become part of an exclusive club and get rewarded 0.5% every day, 24/7 on their membership plan. Now, how do you join? Anyone from the public can join the Hyperfund rewards program through a private link. And I'm assuming things are done this way to avoid public scrutiny. This is also why leaders of some religious sects tell their followers not to share their beliefs with others, because these leaders are smart enough to know that when these beliefs are shared, they will be scrutinized and the leaders themselves will be exposed as frauds. But I digress. The article continues. This link would be given to you by the person that introduced you to the membership program, most likely after you have had a look at the business opportunity. Of course, when you click on the business opportunity link, you are taken to an unsecure site. The article continues, after you have created your account through the Hyperfund referral link given to you, members can then get their membership pack in values of 300 HU, 500 HU, 1000 HU, and HU, by the way, is just their crypto token that is supposed to equal $1. Or of any value, they say, you will be able to invest. There is no limit or cap. Of course there isn't. Why would they limit the amount that they can take from people? Within 24 to 48 hours, you will start receiving your daily rewards of 0.5% minimum on your membership plan. So I really don't need to do any more digging from here. It's clear to me that this is not a legitimate business. There is no legitimate business activity that starts to generate 0.5% return daily minimum within 24 to 48 hours of investing. By the way, if you compound 0.5% return daily, that's like 600% a year. This is not a real return. This is not legitimate business. This is, as far as I can tell, and this is just my analysis, this is a Ponzi scheme. As a Muslim, whenever your investment entitles you to a percentage of the money you invest as a return, as opposed to a percentage of the profits that are generated, you should know that you are either dealing with an interest-bearing loan or a Ponzi scheme. Both, of course, are haram to be a part of. Now, as for our brother, who I sincerely hope neither he or his family has invested too much into this, in his email he states the following. I was talking to my brother about this, and as I mentioned, he has been involved with Hyperfund for over 2 years. Now, while 2 years may seem like a long time, this is not long enough to make a convincing argument that what we're dealing with for sure is not a scam. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme lasted 20 years. On average, Ponzi schemes last around 4 years before they collapse. The brother continues, I asked about where the rewards come from. The rewards come from the different projects they have invested in. The owners are early adopters of Bitcoin. They own BW, Blockchain Global, Star, and many more. And they are also angel investors. The money paid out is a profit share from those companies. Well, actually, it's not a profit share. It's 0.5% of the money you put in. That's not a profit share. That's basically an interest rate on the principal that you invest. Now, let's level set about the rest of what was said. After this statement that I just read, do we know what the business activity the rewards are coming from is? Absolutely not. We have some names that we need to investigate, but we still aren't able to exactly pinpoint what goods or services these people sell in order to generate their returns. The statement, the owners are early adopters of Bitcoin, doesn't really help. I mean, good for them. But what does this mean in terms of where they generate rewards from, which they pay the Hyperfund investors? Absolutely nothing. The brother also mentions they own Blockchain Global. Well, a simple Google search reveals that Blockchain Global collapsed a few months ago, owing millions of dollars. So that's not good. Another name that was mentioned is Star Capital. Now, if we look at Star Capital and look to see who owns this company, we see it's Ryan Zhu listed as the founder. Ryan Zhu is allegedly associated with multiple other crypto project scams, including Media Chain, which scammed investors for 100 million yuan before the project's team disappeared. The email moves on to say that they have a bunch of crypto tokens, and they are also launching new tokens and projects in the future. When there are 30 million users in the ecosystem, they will then IPO and list on the stock exchange, without actually naming which stock exchange they would be listed on. Now, when I read this, I was like, IPO? I still don't even know what they sell. What are they gonna IPO? Then I found this video of Ryan Zhu explaining what they do.
And so we talk about, in our presentations, we talk about your plan to do an IPO for Hypertech Group.
Sure.
What's behind the, like, how does the community benefit from the IPO in your idea, in your vision?
I think every like our Hyper community, our friends, our users, we can, based on their their figure, their statistic, we can issue some free shares for everyone.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
There you go.
Based on the
performance,
the contribution to the platform.
Right. That all makes sense.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
In the US, we try and use a SPAC, SPAC, for listing on New York exchange.
Yep.
And another way is Hong Kong exchange. And we already doing the preparation, and we are talking with lawyers, accountants, and all the like consultancy. We're heading to our goal.
And do you have
Sam Lee, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's already done that kind of job once and once again. So,
yes.
There shouldn't be any problem.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And once you've done the IPO, then what?
Then what? Let's say to rock and roll the world.
What the heck was that? What did this man actually say? Did anyone get any piece of useful information from this? When he is asked about, once you do the IPO, then what? It looks like he was thinking about the answer on the spot. What did this guy say? Did he say to rock and roll the world? Come on, folks. The most gut-wrenching part of this brother's email was when he said, my brother and a lot of people in my community who are in this are adamant this is the real thing and not a Ponzi scheme. They are earning a lot, like $1,000 a day. I was hoping you can break it down and make a YouTube video about it for the benefit of all. Now, I don't know if it's too late for people to get their money out of this fund. I suspect it is, as I've heard that withdrawals have been suspended. If you are able to get your money out, I do not believe you are entitled to anything more than your principal back. So if you've already received payments, you should only take out the balance left until you recovered your principal. If you've already received more than your principal back, then this money needs to be returned to other victims of this scam, if you can find them, who haven't been able to recover their principal. This is not halal money to earn, in my opinion. In the future, never get into schemes where you cannot say simply and explain to a 5-year-old exactly what the product or service being offered is. Never enter into a business arrangement wherein the return you are entitled to is a percentage of the money you invest as opposed to a percentage of the results that ensue from your investment. As I mentioned earlier, if you are entitled to a percentage of your investment back, then that's either riba or it's a Ponzi scheme. Both are haram. A halal investment is one where your return is a percentage of the profits that result. And also, don't invest money where returns are guaranteed or unusually high. Use common sense. Apply all new information to aggressive critical interrogation. Do your due diligence. Remember the Quranic verse that's hanging above my head behind me. قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Say, give me your evidence if you are indeed truthful. I hope I was able to impart some benefit with this video. If you found it beneficial, do leave a like and subscribe. If you'd like to follow my crypto or stock portfolios, you can do so by becoming a member. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.